everyone, how are you all? This video I am making in continuation of part 9 where we studied Panchayati Raj and two parts, or you can say two kinds of local governments. One was Panchayati Raj and one rural urban body, and second was municipal corporation and municipalities in urban rural bodies. Okay, so here we will be just elaborating on that only. We will see that local self-government in India refers to governmental jurisdiction which is below the state level. Okay, this is the third tier of government. India is a federal republic. Federal meaning, now you know, where powers are divided among different levels. Republic, you know, where the head of the nation, which is for India, it is president, is an elected person. Okay, with three spheres of government: center, which is also known as union, then state and local. Now, when this local level was added, it was under the 73rd and 74th amendment in the constitution. Okay, so recognition and protection to local governments was given under these amendments. Amendment, I already explained that it is when we make any changes in the existing laws of the constitution. Okay, in addition, each state has its own government legislation also, which we call as Vidhan Sabha, or the legislative body of the state. So, since 1992, local level governments in India take place in every two distinct forms. As I already said in the previous video, there are two forms of local level governments. One is urban localities. In urban locality was covered under the 74th amendment. This one you remember, this can be asked in 1 mark question. Okay, that what was 74th amendment of Indian Constitution. According to this, third tier of the government, under third tier urban local localities, they were given powers. Okay, where Nagarpalika or Nagar Parishads were made, but they derived their powers from the state governments. Okay, then under the 73rd amendment of the Constitution, second form of local level government, which is Panchayati Raj system, it was formulated. It will also get its powers from the state. Okay, so these two constitutional amendments we did not discuss in the previous video. This was my major motive of making this video, so that you understand that this came through under the 73rd amendment Panchayati Raj system, and under 74th amendment urban localities governments they were made. Okay, and now one more topic which we missed in the last video was, actually it is very small topic, it can be asked only for 1 or 3 marks. Okay, so but then too important. What are the challenges faced by the local bodies, or what can be the difficulties? It can be in any form. So especially the challenges or difficulties if we see, and here I have taken this in the form of question answers. The same question was asked in year 2008, 10 and 14. So first difficulty is most states have not transferred significant powers to the local governments. As we said that according to the amendment in the constitution in 1992, state governments must transfer their powers, or they must dilute their powers, few powers, to the local bodies. But it has come into notice that most of the state governments, they have not given significant powers, means it is just for a namesake that constitutional amendment has been made, so they have to give few powers. So it is just for namesake they have given few powers, but significant powers are not given to the local bodies. And second, there is shortage of resources, as state governments have to share their revenue also with the local bodies, but it has come into notice that the amount of the revenue that they share with the local bodies, it is very small. Okay, so local governments, they always suffer with the problem of shortage of resources or shortage of revenue. Then elections are not held regularly. Though there is state election commission made for conducting elections at the local level, then too in few of the villages, you know, if it has come into notice that the elections are not still conducted regularly, and the Gram Sabhas are not held regularly. We saw that there are few responsibilities of Gram Sabha as well. Gram Sabha, again, if you remember, people, those who elect the members of Gram Panchayat, right? So Gram Sabha members, they need to meet twice or thrice in 1 year, so that they discuss the annual budget, they make plan, they discuss the problems and all. So they need to meet annually twice or thrice, but Gram Sabha meetings are not held regularly. Okay, so if they will not meet, then how the problems of village are going to be sorted, right? So these are few of the challenges. And one more challenge is when we have seen that they are like here at the lowest level it is gram panchayat, then we have seen gram samiti or block or mandal. At the top we have jilla parishad, right? So mostly what has been noticed that the members of gram panchayat, they sit few, they elect the members of gram samiti or these members, then they elect the members of jilla parishad. Mostly in jilla parishad, when the members of gram samiti they sit, it has been noticed they are always, you can say the members of other members of jilla parishad. As we said that there are members of Lok Sabha as well as the members of state legislative assembly also, means MPs or MLAs also are there as the members of Jilla Parishad. So they always try to dominate the members of Gram Samitis. Okay, so there is also significant drawback that these members of Gram Samitis, they are not able to put forward their ideas very properly. They always have the fear, or they always feel like they are being they are being ruled by, or they have to always listen to the Jilla Parishad members. Okay, so these can be few of the challenges or difficulties which are faced by the local government in India, both in urban and in rural areas. Okay, so I hope now we are actually done with the chapter. Okay, so see you soon in the next part of the same chapter where we'll be discussing FAQs or frequently asked questions. Thanks for watching.